It's
Yeah, and
good.
I'll add this to the whole height dynamic because I just did a quick Google search here, and it's 14.5% of the U.S. population that's over 6 foot tall. The
Yes.
vast majority of American men are not over 6 foot tall.
Damn.
But like almost 100% of women, I mean, I'm rounding it up a little bit, but let's say like 95% of women almost always insist on dating somebody that's over 6 foot tall. And when they say 6 foot tall, they're usually coming up with numbers like must be over 6'2" or must be over 6'3" to date me. And it's like, what is this, clacky moose bringing to the table, right? You can laugh and shrug a lot of these off, but just understand like the amount of mental gymnastics that a lot of women go through when they try to rationalize these lists of requirements. You don't need to be over 6 foot tall because basically 85% of the US population ain't.
And one funny thing too is that when we bring girls on the show, and it's even worse. So like a 6 foot is 14.5 to any guy. To get a guy over 6'2" is only 3% of the population, and then over 6'4" is about 1%. So
I'm gonna let you guys talk for a minute. I just got to grab my phone. It's ringing. Hold on.
Yeah, no worries. So one of the other funny things, guys, that are watching the show, if you guys catch our podcast late at night, you would know that one of the things we ask the girls is, hey, well, what do you want in a guy? And almost every girl universally says, like, I want a guy over 6 feet tall. Despite how short they are, they're going to want a guy over 6 feet tall. Yeah. So, and then we say, well, hey, did you know that only, 15% of the male population is over 6 feet and only 3% is over 6'2"? And we tell them these numbers, they're like, oh, I didn't realize that. You know what I'm saying? So it's very interesting to see them kind of like the delusion is real, guys. But that's why it's so important to be in shape.
It adds to the point as well. Like females think they know what they want, right? Facts, yeah. And they see on social media, they see online, okay, this guy's living a certain lifestyle. He may be a certain height. He may be fit, and that's all they see. Yeah. So I would say, Rich, 85% of guys are like invisible to females because they see a certain type of guy, and that's their go-to guy that they always date. So when they get curved or when they get like left on scene, all that stuff, they're saying, oh, guys are no good. But they're talking about the top % of guys that they actually want. Yeah. So it's kind of that way.
Like, I'll be honest, it's not that hard to do. It's going to take work and discipline with diet and exercise. But like Chris Moffitt just pointed out here in the members chat, he said V-taper, broad shoulders, and a slim waist. So we're not talking like a bodybuilder. We're not talking power lifter. We're talking a swimmer's body. Yes. And I achieved the optics of that. The first time that I recognized that I achieved the optics of that was when I was dating this chick and I was down at the air show down in the fall here in Toronto. And I was standing up on this part of the wall and she had her friends over there and they made a sarcastic / appreciative comment, which was something along the lines of, hey, can you tell the Calvin Klein model over there to pull up his pants? We can see his underwear and his sex lines, right? I'll show you what I look like because here's a picture from around the time. Let me pull it up.
Yeah, and Rich, you're in really good shape for a guy your age, man. And
I still work out though, right? I mean, like I had achieved that by around the age of 23. Broad shoulders, V-taper, low belly fat. That's all that you need. Of course, I had a look. Here I was going for the Tom Cruise look from Top Gun. But like, you have to do the work on yourself if you want to achieve the look that's going to present the optics of attraction. My girlfriend at that time, she got super jealous when that comment went out and, the other ladies were, pining and all that sort of stuff. But it's not that hard. Like at that time when I was there, I probably had like a limiting mental belief somewhere along the lines of what I used to call bigorexia, meaning I never thought I was big enough. I was, I never thought I was more, or that I wasn't muscular enough or anything like that. And women don't really want that. I think in that picture, because I'm about 6'3", I was probably about 200 pounds. Okay. I'm about 210 pounds now because I'm on TRT, so I hold a little bit more water in my body. But overall, you don't need to be like a 250 pound, 6'3" monster or anything like that. Just signal the optics of a swimmer's body. So think of like guys like Michael Phelps, for example.
That is definitely the ideal woman's body. Yeah. Most guys overestimate, and I did a whole YouTube video on this, that like most guys overestimate what the aesthetic look is for females by about 50 pounds or so over what women are really attracted to. As long as you got that 1.62 shoulder to waist ratio and you're not like fat, you're going to be attractive to most women with that, especially in the West where obesity is a real thing.
Yeah, I'm realizing too, once you get into shape and like you get the V-tape and the slim waist, you actually gain height when you do that.
Yes.
A lot of people don't talk about that, but you actually look taller when you get into shape.
Yep.
And look, this is the easiest way for you to enter the high value marketplace because guess what? When you're in fitness and you're in shape, people respect you off rip.
Yep.
Especially females too.
Exactly. So yeah, I would say that's the way. From a visual standpoint, I think that's the best way a guy can self-improve is getting in shape, especially if they're under 6 feet tall. It's basically a non-negotiable.
Yep.